G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists in Australia do what they do. The team would like to thank Dave and Sarah from West Coast Motorcycle Hire.
Well, g'day viewers and welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, we're in Western Australia, fantastic state, and we're in an area called Mandurah, and I'm with a very talented lady, Lyn Olsen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Graham.
Great to be here. Lyn is a fantastic artist when it comes to painting coral reefs in the ocean. She does some absolutely beautiful work. Very well travelled. You've sort of been around a lot everywhere, haven't you, exhibiting overseas and your journey. Tell me a little bit about your own personal journey and getting to where you are now.
When I started my career, I didn't start till 2001 because leading up to then I was getting married, working, bringing up children. I had a serious illness which laid me up for quite a while. My husband bought me a few cheap paints and said, start painting, so I did, and I was hopeless.
Therapy turned into a career.
It did, it absolutely did.
That's fantastic. So what about your love of the underwater? I mean, I know that you're from Queensland and you've moved over to Western Australia, but it's obviously being in Queensland and around the influence of the Great Barrier Reef that's brought you on this journey anyway.
Well, that's right. In Queensland, we hear about the Great Barrier Reef all the time because it's endangered and it's one of the great wonders of the world. And my love of ocean, through travelling around, we always seemed, Australians go to the coast mostly, so we're surrounded by water. I used to surf in my younger days, so just came about like that.
Natural occurrence.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to actually do a reef scene with you today, and there's a lot of different things that you do to get to the process of actually producing your beautiful works. So what we're going to do is set the canvas up, and then I'm going to ask Lyn a whole bunch more questions as we go through and extract some more information from this young woman and then start on our magnificent piece of the barrier reef. So let's go ahead and do that.
That sounds great.
Wonderful. Okay, Lyn, well, we're going to do a couple of different stages today so that we can take the folks through the process of how you put one of your pieces together. But you've got a blank canvas there. Terrifying. Terrifying
to some people.
Yeah.
I love a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where it's going to go, and it excites me, it really does. People get intimidated totally by a blank canvas, but with me it's the start of the creation and I really love it.
That's fantastic. So you've got some modelling paste there, and you sort of really do this by feel and intuition with your work.
I do.
Yeah.
I haven't got a drawing or a sketch already done or anything like
That's
that.
Fantastic.
I just take it, let it take me wherever I want to go.
The true artist, without a doubt.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. So all right, well, how do we put this modelling paste down then?
Right. Well, to start with, I'll use a palette knife.
Okay.
I've got a bit of an idea of where I want these corals, which will develop as we go along. And this will take a little while to dry.
So generally, how long does it take the modelling paste to dry?
Probably about an hour.
Okay.
And it adds all the texture in the world. We have hard and soft corals, which I'll be demonstrating today. Modelling paste that I'm putting on here will become the hard corals, and then I'll use softer techniques with ink.
You're actually sort of moulding certain areas of the modelling paste to give you an effect?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's for an effect. And you just dab it on.
Yeah, look at that.
And
the
coral will appear between you.
There you go. Okay.
Before your eyes.
And the actual shape of the spatula is helping to create that for you as well.
Yes, I like a very wide spatula.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to, particularly when I'm working on really big works,
Yeah.
it's really good. I use the smaller ones sometimes, but the wider the better. The biggest you can get really works for me.
It's fantastic. So you were saying to me beforehand that you'd spent a lot of time in the water when you were younger. Yeah, so the sort of the love of the coral and the ocean goes back a long way.
It does. When I was a teenager, I used to surf a lot. I actually used to draw a lot. I loved going to the beach in the winter, and this was in South Australia. You could sketch stormy seas and seagulls and things like that. So I've always been drawn to the ocean. We've lived near the ocean in a lot of places around Australia.
Yeah. So how did you come about this particular style and technique of your work? You've obviously been influenced by other workshops and other artists?
Generally it's my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a lot of coral paintings at all.
Okay.
I took a few lessons when I first started painting, and I found them too structured, and the teachers always wanted me to do their way, and I wanted to just create.
Okay.
It's taken quite a few years, but I've gradually got to this way and I enjoy it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your work's bright and it's colourful and it's a joy to look at. Well, because you're actually wonderfully organised, which is fantastic, is that we do have one that is dry that we can actually start directly on putting some of those inks and colour down in those techniques. So let's take that one away. So you're obviously finished with that?
That's finished now.
Okay, well we'll take that one away and let that dry, and then we'll put the other one up that Lyn's prepared, and that way we can continue to move through this process so we get the best results in the end.
Sounds good. In this stage, the modelling paste is dried, and we're going to put some Derivan Matisse inks I use.
They look fantastic.
And they're great. They're very light, fast, and they spread beautifully.
Yeah.
I'll be using a couple of techniques when I get started. So I'll get started now.
Okay.
And I use a spray bottle first.
Yep.
Just spray a few spots. And away we go. These inks have a mind of their own.
Do they? They look beautiful, don't they?
They look great.
Colours are glorious.
Some of my artworks are just inks, which I love, but for this demonstration I'm going to be painting as well as using ink. Might be enough for the moment. Keep
using that spray bottle?
Using the spray bottle. I don't mind if it splashes up into the background at all, because it's all going to...
This is just to sort of help to manoeuvre, give the paint a vehicle to move
That's
through.
That's right. And it's wonderful for corals, because I started off painting corals very precise.
Yeah.
And every coral was all exactly the same. And then I thought, no, there's got to be a better way. And I've discovered this way, and now it makes it far more contemporary.
Yep, yep.
So now I'm going to use a straw.
So I'm going to use a straw.
Yeah,
one with a bend in it as well.
A bendy straw. And I'm just going to spread it around.
Okay. It's just a fun exercise as it is anyway.
That's right.
Yeah,
and it makes a terrific contemporary painting,
Yeah.
just with the inks.
Yeah.
A lot of people like it like this, actually. Might use a little bit of white.
I've always found that the white sort of tends to be really dominant as it moves through the inks. It sort of tends to have a mind of its own.
It does that, and then the purple will turn into a lovely lilac shade.
Yeah, a little bit of green. We've got the colours of the rainbow going on today.
That's right. Back to the straw.
Back to the straw.
A lot of paintings I just have on a white background. I don't do the ocean. They look great. As you can see, it really stands out when you don't have the ocean, and that takes it into a real contemporary stage.
Yeah, and at the moment you've actually got a show going on in Miami in America with some fantastic pieces. Now, Coral Madness, does it speak for itself?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Coral Madness, that was just a crazy painting that I loved doing.
Yeah.
And technique after technique was used on that.
I mean, how long does that ink normally take to dry?
A good hour probably before I could start putting paint over it.
But it's going to be fun to watch all of these other little techniques develop as we go through, so I think this will be great. Okay, Lyn, now we've put the other one up on the easel. This is the easel section of your particular demonstration. Where are you going to go from here?
I've gone ahead and put the water on as the background, but I want to really demonstrate how the corals go on. So I'm going to start putting some colour on the shapes of coral that I've created with the modelling paste.
Yeah.
This one's actually a bit of a clamshell.
It's still very, very loose in the way that you approach the work. I think that's what gives us its vibrancy as well.
That's right.
Yeah, I can see that there's some lovely patterns that come up in between all of that moulding paste and the colours. There's beautiful effects that come out.
That's right. The inks will tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And I just really put colour on and see what happens, and I can control it right at the end.
Yeah.
If I leave the paint for any length of time, particularly with Atelier, I can come back and spritz it and move it around again, no worries at all.
So what about artists that have influenced you?
The works of Jackson Pollock, with all the drip techniques and colour going everywhere, I just love that. I put that in a lot of my work to a certain degree. Margaret Olley, although she didn't influence me, she inspired me with her age and painting right into, you know, being
86 she was, I think.
I think she was.
And she passed,
yes.
yeah. And you are also in a number of magazines and international art books as well. You're in International Contemporary Masters, which is wonderful. It's a book full of really amazing top artists of the world. And then Art Tour International, the magazine. It's also about very leading contemporary artists across the planet. So you're definitely getting some fantastic publicity for your work.
I've got a lot of commissions through being in those two books, and I'm quite honoured that I was asked to go in them, actually.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Well, these colours here are really blending with this pink into the blues. I really like that colour. I'm going to put the paintbrush down, and now I'm going to use my fingers.
So the fingers gets pretty expressive too, doesn't it? It's the reason all these colours just sort of pop out, because they're all pure.
That's right. Some paintings I don't use a brush at all.
You just use your fingers?
Just fingers.
Get out of here. It's like being back at
Just
school.
as well I don't get manicures.
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of people say that it's just like finger painting at school.
Yeah.
But I didn't do finger painting at school, so I don't really know what that's like.
So you're making up for lost time right now?
It must be. It's a lot softer than using a brush. You get very structured this way. I find it more creative and I like it. I put a few white patches in, so give the eye a little bit of a rest somewhere in the painting.
Yeah, with these designs that you've developed, and you can't tell me, I've tried to squeeze it out of you, one of your designs out of a number of them has actually been chosen to go on the tailplane of a whole bunch of aeroplanes. But you can't say anything at the moment, can you?
I can't at the moment.
Oh, God.
But I was asked to design a logo for a company to start with, just for company paperwork. And then I was told it was going on the tail of an aeroplane. So I spent 3 months solidly designing with a Queensland theme this tail, and I drew many, many aeroplanes. I'm quite good at drawing aeroplanes now, aeroplane tails. And it should be sometime this year, it will be flying around our skies. So I really can't wait for that.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like every time you go past an airport.
That's right.
There's my work.
That's right, you'll see it.
Very well done, very well done. Okay, Lyn, what's part of your social conscience as well, which I think is very important in the art world, you really do give back a lot to the community as well by giving your works for raffles and fundraising events for charities. I think that's just wonderful that you do that. You know, what's your motivation for doing that?
Well, it's exactly what you said. It's for giving back to the community. I really like doing that because the charities are for children and underprivileged people and all that, to raise money. And anything I can do to help raise money for charities, and they generate quite a bit of money actually.
It's good.
Yes, and whoever wins the prize absolutely loves it every time.
That's fantastic. Really, really good. No, it's just part of what we need to do to give back to our communities.
I have to start really building some of these corals out now. The background's all done and these are going to come forward now.
So you've really got just layers and layers of colour.
That's right.
I've always found that when I would paint scenes like this, or even the landscapes or skyscapes, sunsets, that you always seem to drift into the picture yourself.
That's right. I immerse myself totally in the painting when I'm painting. Like a lot of artists, just have music on, shut out all your worries, don't think about anything except what I'm doing and what I'm going to do next, and stand back, and it's the whole day is gone just like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know it. And I think, oh gee, I haven't got any finished. And then at night I put it down in front of the TV and I'm continually looking at it. I'll even take it out into the studio and put a bit more on it and then take it back to the TV again, and it's ongoing all the time.
Yeah.
I really live, eat and breathe art.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy unless I've got a paintbrush in my hand.
Fantastic.
Or dirty hands.
Or just paint all over you.
Paint all over me, paint all over everybody.
But no, it's very true, and that's the beauty about creativity, is that it can take you to another place and you don't even have to leave the room.
That's right. Well, it's having the time to do it. That's a lot to do, that, you know, when you're
Oh, it's a luxury, yeah.
when you're younger and you're bringing up family, and I played so much sport. I was on every committee that was known to man. I had no time to paint, but it was always buried inside. Even at school, my books looked beautiful, but I didn't study art or anything like that. It was sport, boys, and then I worked in the corporate world when I left school for a long time at fairly top level in the corporate world, and then in mining over here in Western Australia, where I met my husband. That was lovely, and still didn't have time. I worked 12 hours a day, six weeks on, 1 week off, and it wasn't, as I said before, until I got sick and had to retire. I had all this time on my hands, and now I don't want to go back to work. I just want to do this forever.
And that's great. I mean, it's hugely encouraging for people that, you know, want to get to a place where you are now.
Well, it's not work, is it? And they always say if you can do something you love and make money out of it, it's not a job.
No.
It's just wonderful. And pass on your skills to other people too. I think it's really important.
Yeah, very, very true, yeah.
I'll go to the softer fan brush now.
Yeah.
Best part of the painting is when I'm getting near the end and can put all the finishing touches on.
The bling.
Or the bling, yes. It's knowing when to stop though, because the reef just seems to evolve all the time.
There you go, so you can see how that fan brush literally only picks up certain areas and then it has that real feathered effect all over it.
It gives it a lot of movement. There's another technique I use, what do you call it?
Skewer.
Skewer, like the old Aboriginal dot paintings.
Yeah.
It's quite therapeutic, just
Just
sitting
dotting
here
away.
dotting away. I don't use it a lot,
Yeah.
just as a final bit of bling. Right, now I'm going to paint some fish, Graham.
Excellent.
I love painting these fish.
Yeah.
They're simple fish, and don't ask me what they are because they're from here. So I just go for it
Okay.
and paint some, see what comes out.
And it's just really just a flick and a movement of the brush. 1, 2.
I've painted a lot of fish, really colourful ones, but this is a coral painting and I don't want the fish to be the hero. The coral's the hero in this painting, so hence they'll be a little bit more subdued.
But once again, it's just a suggestion. I mean, you know they're fish, but
Just gives a bit of movement in there.
It's the impression, isn't it?
And they get smaller as they go up. They might be swimming from there down in here. They're heading down into the reef for a feed. So I think we're at a stage where I'd like to lay it flat again and show you how I put in the soft corals.
Sounds great. Let's go and do that.
Okay, so the next technique I'm going to use is house paint, and I'm going to dribble it on, and hopefully it's going to go where I want it to. If it doesn't, I'll make it go where I want it to. It's got a mind of its own, but it's a terrific technique. I'm sure you'll love it.
Excellent. Oh, look at that.
And this creates those soft flowing corals that float out into the ocean.
I suppose that once it's dry, there's a bit of depth in the paint as well.
Yeah, sometimes I'll put a colour over it. I'll put ink over it if I want it to be coloured, but often it just stays white and it adds to what's going on in the painting. A lot of my students are a little bit scared of this technique, but they master it. As we say in the art world, there's no mistakes, they're just happy accidents. And you just have to go with it and be confident. So these are those nice, lovely, soft corals that really just want to flow and ebb in the water, the movement of the tides and the wind. Right, now I'm going back into here again, and I'm going to go back to the inks and see what we can create.
Ooh. So you just sort of just drip them down there. Beautiful.
Yeah, don't do anything special with them.
Oh, look at that. Oh, there you go. In comes the finger again.
Yeah, this will take it back into contemporary again. But straight away it was just a few dots there before, and now it's being something a little bit different. And these techniques can be carried over actually, which I have done into landscapes and whatever. You can make beautiful landscapes just with the inks rolling across your canvas.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it turns out really, really nice.
So how much more work would you have on this piece to finish it off?
I'd bring out these colours more that I've actually put on, because I've only really got ink on them and one coat. I'll go into them with paint and make them a lot thicker, so it all looks a lot glossier and thicker and more painterly. And over here I've got a lot of work to do with the pinks, and I'll put a bit more on there as well, and then it'll be finished.
So viewers, with the beauty of television, as you can see, we're screening up the finished piece that Lyn has done. It's a really beautiful piece and extremely well done. Fantastic day, that was wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful, it really was. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me come on the show.
It's great. I mean, we're in Mandurah in Western Australia with Lyn Olsen, and Lyn paints these fantastic pictures of the Great Barrier Reef and underwater scenes. And obviously she's doing so well overseas as well. It's just fantastic, and thanks so much for having us in your studio. Now, you've got workshops as well. I mean, you travel around the country doing these workshops as well. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you at your website, what's your website?
LynOlsen.com.
Doesn't get any easier, does it? LynOlsen.com. You can come in and see Lyn's work in our store as well. We've got tons and tons of people in these days. Fantastic. It's really, really amazing what's going on. And that's at colorinyourlife.com.au, and also on our Facebook page as well. But why don't you make your way into our YouTube channel as well? We have literally thousands of subscribers coming in there from all over the world to see what's going on with these fantastically talented Australian artists. So until we meet again, guys, remember always, make sure you put some colour in your life. See you next time. Bye now. Bye.